Ben Simmons is in the headlines once again, and this time everybody's on his side. It may be time for a good old Aussie comeback montage as Simmons looks geared up to dominate. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let us take you through a breakdown of the latest NBA updates. Where would you be without us? Firstly, what even happened? Well, to cut it short, things aren't exactly looking up for Ben Simmons as of late. The basketball star hasn't been able to play a competitive game of basketball since June of 2021. And being out of action for that long may have severely affected his ability on the court. The key word being may have. Simmons is known for bouncing back when things don't seem to be going his way. The Brooklyn Nets have managed to maintain their big three, with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving ultimately deciding to stay at the team, which sets them up big time for the oncoming season. Simmons has somehow managed to make a place for himself in this impressive lineup and is expected to be fit for training following his back surgery a little while back. Now, since he hasn't played for so long, fans are pretty skeptical as to how the man will even impact the game at all. Many believe there's no coming back. But this is Ben Simmons we're talking about, one of the most versatile NBA players ever. It's no small task keeping this guy down. Next up, is Ben Simmons even good? So almost overnight, the Australian wunderkind went from being considered the most overrated player in the league to the most underrated player in the league. How one does that, we have no clue. A lot of people bring up the fact that Ben Simmons is the worst person to pass the ball to, simply because the man does not shoot from, well, anywhere. But while he's no Steph Curry, his coaches beg to differ. They talked about how it's the little things he does off the ball that make him an absolute gem of a player. They said the fact that he manages to effortlessly switch from being a point guard to a center and back, especially in this day and age of basketball, when positions are becoming less and less frequent, makes him unparalleled. That, coupled with the fact that he's a genuinely good guy and fun to be around, according to his teammates, makes him, according to the coaching staff, the perfect fit for the Brooklyn Nets lineup. It's no wonder opposing fans are starting to sweat at the thought of a Kyrie plus Durant attack, mixed in with a fully match-fed Ben Simmons. You have a championship-winning team on your hands. How it all plays out, though, we can only find out as the season goes on. However, if you look at it on paper, the Nets might just be the strongest team in the league right now. Coming up, is Ben Simmons done and dusted? Again, there's an easy answer to this one, and that is no. NBA careers last a bit longer than other sports. While in sports like soccer, a player's career may end as soon as he hits 30. In the NBA, honestly, that's when you're most in the zone, in the prime of your career. Lucky for Ben Simmons, he's only 26, which means he's barely scratched the surface of his prime. Ben has time and time again proven to be a vital player for whichever team he's played in, and has cemented his legacy already as being one of the most dangerous players in basketball today. This, coupled with the fact that the player has more than a decade left in his gas tank, means the NBA is about to be overturned again. We have to remember, this basketball star was already being called overrated before even entering his late 20s. That type of trash talk is usually reserved for neighborhood barbecues, and that too for players who have already retired. In this case, Ben Simmons is only just getting started. Still though, major back surgery could point toward the fact that he may be a bit too much of an injury-prone player, and that might affect the longevity of his career. But once again, you never know what might happen and who might surprise you. Finally, are we going to see a Ben Simmons comeback? Now, the key factor in play here is the simple fact that this man hasn't played a single competitive basketball game in well over a year. That's no joke. Neighborhood pickup games don't count, so to say he'll be lagging behind his teammates would be the understatement of the century. But he's young and he has a coaching staff that believes in him, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him to recover his lost form and get back into game-winning shape. He might be the only basketball player in the NBA right now that we know of whose team's coaches have blatantly come out and said they don't care about whether he shoots the ball or not. They care about everything else he does on the court, be it his superior passing game or his impressive positioning skills. He's proven to his coaching staff that he's an indispensable player, so getting rid of him or benching him doesn't make sense in the slightest. Finally, it's time to tackle the age-old statement. Can Ben Simmons talk the talk and walk the walk? Well, this won't be the first time in his professional basketball career that he's facing doubters, though the circumstances might be new. We're sure that this basketball star will be up and running in no time. Imagine that, a Kyrie, Durant, and Simmons super trio. What an age to live in, huh? Other news. First up, the Celtics head coach was suspended for an entire season. Okay, so the Celtics might be in real trouble right now. Their head coach just got suspended, and the reason might be more surprising than you think. So basically, according to the organization, the head coach, Ime Udoka, was involved in a consensual relationship with a female co-worker present in the organization, and so, as soon as HR caught wind of it, it was curtains for him. Now, they haven't fired him as of yet, which we don't think they will consider in his first ever season taking over from Brad Stevens. He coached the Celtics to their first NBA Finals since 2010. That is kind of hard not to appreciate, but you never know. For now, the coach has been suspended without any further notice, and it's effective immediately. With the opening game for the 2022 season of the NBA less than a month away, being suspended for a season already isn't exactly the best move for the team's sake. With the Celtics' future looking grim, we're just going to have to stay put and wait to hear more on this developing story. Next up, Thunder guard to miss training camp due to injury? The Oklahoma Thunder are going to have to go forward with their training camp, but they'll be missing their guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, due to an MCL injury. According to sources, the injury is a grade 2 injury, which means that the NBA star probably won't be able to partake in the training camp. This could severely impact his game time and play style in this upcoming season. Shai was doing phenomenal this past season, averaging 25 points per game, alongside 5 rebounds and 6 assists per game. Though these aren't triple-double numbers, they were enough to land him a spot in the All-Star game, after which he stepped up his game even further and topped it off at an average of 30 points per game. Apart from this phenomenal form he seemed to be in, Shai was giving fans hope by coming out with the looks of a franchise player. Perhaps the Wade to their Heat, however, with recent news, all these plans will have to be put on hold as the star has suffered a grievous injury that'll bench him for a while to come. It's a shame to be missing out on such potential greatness. Finally, Iguodala making a hero's comeback to the Warriors. Okay, when you talk about the Warriors, Andre Iguodala is a name that keeps coming up again and again. That too for good reason. The man has won 4 NBA championships alongside Steph Curry and is a hero and a legitimized franchise player. Even in seasons when he was out with injuries, the man came back just in time for the finals and helped the Warriors win. The best example of this is during the 2015 NBA Finals, when he played with the Warriors for the finals series and followed it up with an MVP award by averaging 16 points per game. Insane. Now, after being out for injury for most of the season, he's teased fans about coming back and re-signing with the Warriors for one final season before hanging up his jersey. We don't know about you, but we're hyped to see this absolute legend back at it for one last season. The hype is real, people. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Ben Simmons is underrated? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.